Hello and welcome to the Node Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Daniel Alshouse, and joining me is Eric Simmons.
That's me.
As you can hopefully tell, I don't sound like a bag of rocks today. I am back in the home state of Washingtonia, and no longer on the East Coast. So I'm back in my own setup. So
Hey.
woo woo woo.
Was vacation fun?
Oh, dude, vacation was amazing. I was visiting some family up on the East Coast, and it was my first time flying, and for one,
Actually?
yeah, my first time ever being on a plane.
Wow.
So, dude, that alone was kind of a mind trip.
Wow. Yeah, no, that is crazy. That's actually really cool. And first time on a plane is always surreal.
Dude, it for real though. It was crazy because I'm like, I didn't know how my body was going to you just don't know how you're gonna feel, and going up in the air, like ascending, is wild.
Yeah, it's when people say it feels like a roller coaster, it's an understatement.
Oh yeah. I feel like I had more anxiety, though, going through the airport than I actually even did on the plane. Like, I was perfectly fine on the plane. Turbulence didn't really bother me. I sat in the very back, which apparently is a bad seat, but it didn't bother me. I was fine. It was the only time I got semi-queasy was on the first ride there, not my way back, but the first ride there when we were descending and landing.
Ooh, yep.
Made me feel a little queasy, but I think it's just because the change of air pressure and going down really quick. And
that same. The first time I flew to LA, that was my experience. Liftoff was fine. Midair was fine. Like, I got to see the sunrise, and I had a window seat.
Ooh,
yeah, dude. Beautiful.
That's awesome.
And then the descent, I had to chew gum because apparently that is the secret to making nausea go away on a plane.
I think it depends on what type of gum too. And here, just one sec.
Oh, okay.
Unpause. Yeah, so I know my sister was telling me that mint and mint gum helps with her nausea, and peppermint and ginger.
Yeah.
I also heard a good reason to use to chew gum on a plane is to help keep your ears
from popping.
Mm-hmm.
Because
to pop your ears.
Yeah. Dude, that's one thing that I struggle with in general. And dude, my ears, they hurt so bad. Dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was your first time ever flying. That's dope. Did you try one of the airplane crackers?
No. Yes. I tried their pretzels. And then they gave me some cookies. So
did you try a cookie?
I did not.
No.
I didn't want any. Hey, I can here. I have airplane cookies with
you
me
can't
right
eat it now. No, it's gonna taste like shit now. So the reason why things
taste like shit no matter what.
Incorrect. When you're flying, when you're in the air that high up, things taste different because altitude changes things tastes.
BS.
And so those cookies taste bomb on the plane. You can't say it.
Nah,
you can't say you disagree. You can't say it because you didn't eat it.
Okay, well, I will eat their cookies on ground and then eat their cookies up in the air, and I will tell you...
There will be a ginormous difference, and you will totally agree with me.
Okay, we'll see.
For an airplane cookie, they slap.
Oh, dude, I will... Okay, I'm calling BS, but I can't say anything. I'll try it later. I'll get more into the trip because I'm kind of gonna relate it to our movie for today.
Yes, sir.
Which, by the way, we'll start talking about in just a sec. It's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Walter Mitty. Sorry, I know it's Mitty.
No, it's Mitty.
I know.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Walter Mitty. And so I I watched this while I was on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and did this feel like a calling to what I was like mirroring my life in a way that was so weird. So just to kind of to jump into it, the reason why I wanted to watch this movie is while I was on vacation visiting family, one of my family's friends at their house church, I told her about my podcast, and we started swapping movies,
Mm-hmm.
which I kind of love that, like, doing this podcast is making me a pseudo movie connoisseur now. And
Welcome to the club.
I kind of love it.
Welcome to the club.
So we started swapping movies, and they told me to watch this, and it was like she sung high praises of it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a chance. Like, brief synopsis of like a dude who never does anything but is forced to do things, and like, and he has action scenes in his head. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's pretty much that. Walter Mitty works at Life magazine as a dude who,
I know it's a joke, but it's Mitty.
Okay,
it's gonna bug me.
Okay, no. I'm not gonna lie. That was not a joke. This is my brain breaking. It's
Okay.
Mitty, Walter Mitty. I'm not even meaning to do it. Mitty.
Yes.
Okay, so he works at Life magazines and he develops pictures back when things weren't digital.
Facts.
But yeah, so he develops pictures for Life magazine, and he specifically is like the key guy for this famous photographer who is like their main dude for Life magazine. Like, he gives them all the covers. Like, he's the reason why they've had some of their most successful covers, and like, he's been his key guy at Life. Like, Life uses him. Like, he talks to him, not to Life. He never talks to the execs. He talks to him, and he's always traveling everywhere, the photographer. I can't remember his name. Do you remember the character's name?
Yeah, give me 3 seconds. Trace, dos, uno. It is. Why isn't he listed in the names?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused too. I don't see it here, which is weird.
It's Sean Penn. The actual actor's name is Sean Penn.
But why? I mean, it's very on brand for the movie for him to be disappeared from the list of characters. I'm not gonna lie. And so Sean O'Connell. That's
Sean
the character's
O'Connell.
name.
Sean Penn.
Yeah, it lines up.
Makes sense.
But yeah, Sean O'Connell is this famous photographer, and he travels everywhere and gets these beautiful pictures. And Life magazine is closing down. They bring in this new guy, which Adam Scott plays as Ted Hendricks, and I love Adam Scott so much.
I hate him so much in
He's
this movie.
such a good villain. He's such a good asshole, and he does such a good job of it in this movie.
He really does. That was the first time I ever saw him in anything.
Oh, for
and
real?
It made me kind of hate him holistically for a minute.
I don't remember the first time I ever saw him, but I knew one of the first times I can think about seeing him was in Parks and Rec. And he plays Ben in Parks and Rec, and I knew
he's like a main dude.
I recognize his face. Like, I recognized his face from other things. I just can't put my thumb on it right now.
Oh, no, he's in Step Brothers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a funny one.
But he is super good in that. He kind of plays a villain turned good guy in Parks and Rec as well. And I think he's so good at being overconfident. He's just so good at it. And it's like, it's obnoxious, and it's like just oozing confidence, and what's the word? Contagious. And it's like, I can't remember the word. I can't think of the word, but pretty much like infectious, kind of. Like, I get drunk off of seeing him do this. I love it. I love when he plays assholes. It's
Yeah.
the same reason why I like Ryan from The Office. I just love unearned confidence. Um, but he's in it. He's shutting down Life. He's helping. Well, he's not shutting down Life, but Life is shutting down, and he's brought in to help migrate the change from Life magazine to online.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much Ben Stiller playing Walter Mitty.
Nice.
He gets the final pictures from Sean, but his masterpiece, slot 25, is missing. And so he doesn't have that shot, and that's supposed to be the magazine cover. And when he gets these shots, he gets a wallet that's a gift from Sean
O'Connell.
And it's like, here you go, here's the wallet, here's a gift to you. You always knew what to do with it. You know what to do with my pictures. You made them come to life.
Yeah.
And because he can't find it, Ted is on his ass the whole time, and the dude is like also on what's the dating website he's on?
eHarmony.
Yeah, oh, that's a throwback. He's on eHarmony, and it's funny because the person his love interest is a coworker of his that he's trying to match through eHarmony.
Yeah.
Instead of just talking to her.
Yeah. Social anxiety.
Yeah. And so he ends up going on a rabbit chase through his photos, Sean's photos, going to all these different locations because he figures out that the boat in one of the photos is in, was it Greenland? Greenland. So he goes to Greenland and then ends up going to Iceland and tons of different countries on a chase to find Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And it forces this dude who deassociates. Like a common theme in the movie is he'll be in a situation and then it'll play out and it'll be like disassociates, and he'll play out the situation and it'll like either be like an action scene or of him like being the funniest guy in the room and standing up for himself or like wooing the girl, and then it cuts to reality.
Yeah,
it's
it's like imagination.
Yeah.
Wall breaks away, he swings in from an icy cavern, and he's talking to the girl that he has a crush on with like a Spanish accent
and snow beard.
Yeah, and a snow beard, which is foreshadowing at the end of the movie. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, that was really well played.
Yeah.
And so it's just which I enjoy because I'm also a daydreamer, especially in social situations like that. So I could really relate to it, you know, pushing through social anxiety and getting out of your head is hard. And so what I was saying about how I related to this, and it was weird. It was crazy weird how me watching this movie now paralleled my life. Was like, I'm not someone who's never done things. Like I've done things, but like I've said I always wanted to travel, and this character wanted to travel backpack across Europe with his dad, but never did because his dad died, and then he had to become the man of the household. Obviously, that didn't happen to me exactly, but like, I've always said I wanted to travel. I always wanted to do this. I grew up in a town of 1,000 people, so like, the stereotypical I've never seen the world, I want to see the world, bright-eyed star kid.
The heart of an adventurer.
Yeah, but I just haven't done the adventure part.
Yes.
And then I'm watching this movie while I went on a plane for the first time, saw the Atlantic Ocean for the first time, went to my first symphony. I mean, I've been in symphonies.
Professional symphony.
But yeah, a professional symphony. Went to Charlotte, went to tons of different places, South Carolina, North Carolina, went on an island, like, did a ton of new things, all in a span of a week. And then I'm watching this dude travel the world, climb mountains,
run away from volcanoes.
Yeah, like
get almost eaten by a shark.
Literally go on a plane to a foreign country kind of on a whim. Get on a helicopter with a drunk pilot. So
jumps
obviously
on a helicopter. And jumps off of a helicopter.
Yeah. And I obviously haven't done those things, but like,
well, yeah, there's a difference between adventuring safely
and do what that man did.
And midlife crisis, Daniel.
Yeah. But it was like a weird mirror that I felt like
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
entering the second act of that movie, you know?
Yeah.
As I was
I like
watching
it.
that movie. And it was so, and I watched that movie, I think, Sunday night, I want to say. Yeah. Sunday night. And then, yeah, that's when
Going
I watched
into
it.
your trip?
Yeah. Well, I arrived Saturday. So we watched
And then you
it
watched
Sunday.
it. Very cool.
Yeah. So, because I talked to this lady at church on Easter.
Yeah.
And so we watched it that night, and so like it was kind of tipping off, and but at that point, like I hadn't done all these things yet. Like I was going to do these things. Like I went and saw my favorite band that week too.
Yeah.
So like there was all these things I knew I was gonna do, but I haven't done them yet. So I felt like I was entering that act with Walter.
It was a
And
good
it's just-
foreshadowing.
Dude, it was crazy spot on now that I'm thinking about it, and it's such a weird like, oh, it was awesome. And now I'm hooked. I'm getting my tax return soon, and so now I just want to spend it all my excess money on plane tickets and just like go on like vacations and travel. Like now this is like I'm hooked. Like now that like
you got the travel bug.
yeah, now that I've done it and like I can't
Justify.
rationalize not doing it as social anxiety, like that's all gone now. Like I
Yeah.
now know I myself can travel on a plane
Yeah.
by myself. Like my first time being on a plane and going to an airport, I was by myself.
Yeah.
Like no one was there.
Feels.
Like I got picked up and dropped off,
Yeah.
but like the rest was me. So like
I was in a group of like 20 people, and I had a whole aisle to myself. So I felt alone.
oh dude, a whole
Dude,
damn.
me at the window and the two people that were supposed to be sitting next to me
Mm-hmm.
weren't in the internship with me. Like, they were just randos, and they didn't get on the plane.
They just didn't show up.
Nope.
Oh, so you just
And
you
then
just
on the
gotta
way
chill.
back, same thing. Window seat and everything.
Dude. I mean that's kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of beautiful.
On a plane, I would way prefer that.
Window seats
Like-
are amazing, dude. Next time you get on a plane, you should definitely book a window seat.
I wanted to be on a window seat, so going there, I got an aisle seat.
Yeah.
And then I checked in and got the window seat, but there was like, it was a weird situation. And there was like a younger person who was sitting in the seat, and she like moved to help let me get in.
Yeah.
And so I was sandwiched between her and her brother too. I was like, hey, do you want to sit by your brother? And she's like, no, it's fine. And I was like, I really don't have the social energy right now to just tell you to get up. And also, I'm not gonna tell a 12-year-old to just get up, move.
This
I'm in
is
the
my
middle.
seat.
Like I can see the window. It's not
Yeah.
that big of a deal. I will have.
Dude,
other
have you seen that? Have
opportunities.
you seen that commercial where it's just like, "Hey, my daughter, she needs to see the window, like when they're flying," and then the dude's just like, "I think you should tell her daughter that I think you should tell your daughter that not everything can be given to you." Have you seen that?
Ooh, I have not, but I love it.
Dude, it's amazing. It's so funny.
Is that a real video?
It's a real video.
Bro, that man's my hero.
I'll find it.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, that's kind of before getting too deep into the movie and kind of just summarizing, and then Eric, you can kind of go from there and talk about maybe some moments that you loved. But that's kind of the parallel I see to that movie to my
Yeah.
life, and so like, I don't know, it's like we get philosophical on here, but I don't think I've had a like similar to how you felt like 500 Days of Summer.
It teed up
It was
my
teed
life.
up like how it paralleled your life in a lot of ways and where you're at and where you were and all that. That's
Yeah.
how like I haven't had a movie we've watched yet really do that. No, that's not true. Good Will Hunting felt that way. Good Will Hunting definitely felt like I was like in that, like I very
Yeah,
parallel
I
to
get
my
you.
life. But I just didn't think it was gonna happen again, and it did, and it
Dude,
in a way I didn't
movies-
expect it, and I absolutely love it. I'm there for it. Especially this movie was. I didn't think this movie would do it because it's a comedy.
So
like,
good.
it's such an inspiring comedy.
Yes. Yes, it really is. I think the thing that I love most about this movie is how much they quote the phrase from Life, like the motto that Life does
Yes.
is to see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, closed doors, to find each other, and to feel that is the purpose of life.
Which is a
Dude,
beautiful motto.
it's really pretty. And they're always like, one of the biggest things that I love about this movie and how they show the motto is that like the editing in this movie and just like the stylization that Ben Stiller has to this movie, because he made this movie, he directed this movie.
Oh, I didn't know that, dude. Ben
Yeah,
Stiller is
he's
underrated.
he's a master.
Kinda.
He's a
Yeah.
master. No,
For
no,
the
he's
longest time.
not underrated.
Well, no,
I
dude. I mean, let me put it this way: when people talk about Ben Stiller, like, yeah, he's famous, but also I feel like people talk about him as an actor, but like he's
Yeah,
made so many good movies
he has.
and starred in them too. So it's like
Most of the
he's
movies
much,
he directs or he stars in.
yeah, like he's much more diverse than just a comedy actor, and I don't feel like he gets that credit. Or maybe I'm just a nincompoop who hasn't seen it, but like that's
Well,
just,
yeah, you don't watch movies, Daniel.
I'm starting to. I'm getting.
Oh, I
There.
know. I'm about it. I'm about it. But no, he's made quite a bit. Like, you know the Night at the Museum movies?
Yeah, he
He
made
directed
those.
those. Yeah, he directed
Okay.
those.
I know.
Zoolander,
I know
Meet the Parents.
Tropic Thunder, he did that, and that's like the big thing like I know of his that he directed and starred in.
Yeah, I think he directed those ones. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure he did, but I don't know. Either way, the things that I love about this movie is the way that they use words in it, like in scenes. Like they'll be like flying and they'll be like words carved into the mountainside of
Oh
like
yeah.
what's happening to give like a transition descriptor.
Mhm.
And it's so interesting, and everything is always just like, the whole movie is pretty much like you kind of get to see the world through Walter's eyes, because his imagination is so like vivid and so like crazy that like it would only make sense that he would be imagining those things actually there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it doesn't break
It does not
the
break it at
boundaries
all.
of them
Nope.
at all.
It
And
only sets them and ingrains them further that like this is like a fantasy movie that is so interlinked with reality that it's like, it's amazing.
well,
That's one reason why I love it, is because this movie is very fantasy. Only when I say fantasy, I mean like imagination and like
yeah.
creative. But like, yeah, it's just so good.
Well, and what I love about this movie too is it's almost the things that are real and the things he does are almost more, if not a lot of times, more crazy and more out there than the actual like fantasies he has in his own head. Like
Yeah.
obviously the one where he skis down the street
Yeah, Stretch
is
Armstrong.
never gonna happen. Which, by the way, is the best like villain hero scene between
Yeah.
Ted and Walter. The whole movie is when Walter and him go like on a 2-minute long action battle scene over
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong
Elevator.
out of the elevator onto the street, and they're both like skiing and snowboarding on
Yeah.
like slabs of concrete through the street and like
Yeah.
duking it out like fit like dude, it's so
And then
funny.
the way that they
It's
bring
so
it back,
funny.
every time the way that they bring back Walter into reality is always like, it's always so smart, because it's always like someone being like, hey Walter, yeah, hey, and then like the audio will play into his imagination and then he'll like snap out of it.
Yeah.
Or like
It's kind of like
the Ted guy being like, you know, ground control to Major Tom, come
oh
in
yeah.
Major
Yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
and like flicks a paperclip at him, or is like Does the Tin Man need oil? I,
Oh, dude.
yeah.
I do love though, like, obviously, to like that scene, and like is way more than what's ever gonna happen, and like his imagination is more like hyperbole than it is like fantasy at times. I mean that the what we just gave the example of skiing is 100% fantasy. But like his
Yeah,
life
that and the
turns
opening
out
one.
oh yeah, yeah. His life
Saving a
turns out
dog. Sorry, go
oh
ahead.
no, you're fine, you're fine. His life turns out to be more out of the world and like crazy and just mind-blowing than he could ever imagine, which I think is such a good metaphor for life,
Yeah. Oh,
and is
I
beautiful.
agree. I agree.
um and so just to kind of go through the movie real quick, he travels around the world. He ends up finding Sean tells him that the last slide was in the wallet, which
That he
Walter
threw away.
yeah, Walter ends up throwing away after he fails. He comes back temporarily to get some more info before he goes back out, and he gets fired. So then he kind of gives up. He throws away the wallet, but then his mom end up talking to Sean while Sean was
Yeah.
prepping for shots, and
Gives him
tells
cake.
he gets cake from her, and then he ends up telling her where he's going, and they end up talking about it because Walter found some of his notes that was on a wrapper on cake on one of the sailors had on a ship that he jumped to earlier in Iceland, where he ends up writing warlords, and
Warlocks?
yeah, he thought it was warlocks, but it was warlords. She corrects him, explains it. He finds where he is, and in a last-ditch effort, he goes out there, climbs the mountain, finds him. He tells him it's in the wallet.
He climbs the Himalayas.
Yeah,
to
I guess
be
saying
specific.
Yeah, I guess saying he climbs a mountain is a little
It's a
downplaying.
little downplaying. He meets Afghanistan warlords.
Gives him cake.
Buys passage through cake.
Why haven't we been doing that? Why haven't we just been giving warlords cake this whole time?
Because
this is the strat, apparently.
Because humans think guns first.
Let them eat cake, dude. The queen knew. The
cake.
queen knew what she was doing.
And then this is also when he first starts writing in his journal that his dad gave him.
Oh, which is beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And so he's hiking the Himalayas, and so at the very beginning of this movie, he is setting up an eHarmony account, and he gets a call, and it's one of like the advisors or like account support help people, and they're like, hey, Walter, I just wanna, so like there's you left some blank spots here, and I just want to help you make your account seem more attractive. And so like the whole movie, this guy keeps on calling Walter to be like, hey, so what's interesting now? And so you get to see him kind of like live through Walter while he's just probably sitting at a desk in LA.
Exactly, and it's Patton Oswalt, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to know, the most adorable man in the world. I love this man's face and voice. He just oozes teddy bear energy.
He plays the rat in Ratatouille.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think.
I just love this man. I just love him. He might play one of the rats. I could see that. I don't think he plays the main rat though. But he like you said, he's calling him to get updates on his eHarmony account, and each time they end up like getting abruptly.
He plays Remy.
He does play Remy.
He plays Remy.
Okay, yep. But each time they keep getting abruptly like ended.
Like, oh, I jumped off of a plane, and then I jumped and I ran away from a helicopter, or ran away from a volcano.
It's so funny because the theme of the first three times Todd from eHarmony calls Walter, he's like you were saying, hey, you left these places blanks, but specifically it's where you been and what have you done.
Yeah.
And
The
he's
life
like,
experience, essentially.
exactly. And the whole time Walter's like, I haven't really done anything or been anywhere. He's like,
I've
you gotta
worked at
help.
Life for 16
He's
years.
like, you gotta help me out, bro. Tell me
Yeah.
something. And then halfway through the movie, when he calls him, he's like, oh, by the way, I went to Greenland. He's like, no way. He's like, yeah, I swam away from sharks. He's like, no. He's like, yeah,
Yeah, and
dude.
he
And
even was like, yeah, daydreaming really isn't like something to
healthy.
put down for places you've been.
And he's like, no, for real. But I gotta bike up to this volcano. So I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
And then
And
he's
then
like,
just dips.
huh? And then he calls him back later, and he's like, yeah, no, I think he calls him back the next time they call is when he's in the Himalayas, or he
Yeah.
might call. And he's like, hey, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm in the Himalayas. He's like, what is your life, dude? He's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like at this point, Todd is now he went from being a concerned citizen for Walter and a like kind of let me help you to now he's idolizing Walter
Yeah, complete support.
and is complete like the support goes from let me support you get better to let me
Damn, I
just
wish I could be
like
you.
I'm just gonna cheerlead you type of thing.
Yeah.
And then he gets held up at the
I really gotta make oxygen choices right now, so I gotta go.
yeah, yeah, it's so good. And then he the whole Todd's story arc with him is such a good
Oh
C
wait,
plot.
so in the Himalayas, he finds Sean,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a whole experience where so Sean O'Connell is hunting to photograph a snow leopard,
Yes.
and they find one as they're having a conversation about him throwing away the wallet and everything like that. And so they both look at the camera and they both see the snow leopard, and he's like, sometimes when moments mean something to me personally, I don't like to capture them, and I just like to sit there here in this moment. And I'm just like, ugh.
Beautiful.
Good shit. Good
And like
shit.
dude, that's something I had to like kind of
Yeah.
relearn as a young adult, because like I felt like I would always just live through my phone taking pictures and videos of the situation and be like,
Yeah.
how can I frame this right?
Yeah, how
Instead of
can I show this to
actually
people later?
exactly instead of going into it just like and enjoying it. And so like
Yeah.
now like my vacation, I took pictures here and there,
Yeah, of course.
but like I once I got like my one or two pictures of the area, or like 6 pictures of me and my sister in like succession, I was like, okay, I'm good
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and
And
he's
like
talking about like the when it's personal.
yeah,
Like not just capturing, like, and what you're saying is like not living through your phone, but like essentially it'd be like understanding like when to put your phone down.
exactly. And
That's pretty much what he's saying.
and that's kind of what I've like learned to do, because I went from like always doing it, always like taking pictures, like
Yeah.
and it like doing that and living through my phone in that way, living through the camera, to then not doing it whatsoever. I'm like, no, I won't. I just want to enjoy it and be here.
Yeah.
And now I'm like learning that balance, like you
I
said.
think that there needs to be a happy balance,
Mhm.
because I think cuz I never take pictures, and I'm always a very in the moment person. I like to take in everything that's around me, because I know I'm only going to probably experience that once, but then I always leave the situation saying, "Damn, I wish I had a picture to remember that," you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm on the opposite end. Like, I need to learn how to take more pictures.
Yeah. And it's this movie is just has so many layers, dude.
It does.
But yeah,
This movie is a movie of life. Go ahead.
But yeah, he tells him that the picture is in the wallet. He's like, oh, he kind of grieves the fact that he had it this whole time. Yeah, but also like the experiences he got from it were almost worth like
Oh, if he would have
But
never gotten that wallet back, I don't think he would have cared. I think he would
yeah,
have cared for
same.
probably like a month, but
And then
then
gotten
he
over
would
it.
have been doing something completely crazy.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And so he on the way back, because he went to a country that you can't fly to from America, so he had to fly to another country to get there. When he was going to the Himalayas, he got detained
Yeah, in
by
LA.
LA by TSA, and then they're like, "Can you call anyone?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know anyone in LA because
Can
he was in New
anyone
York."
prove that you are Walter Mitty?
Yeah, and so he calls up your boy Todd, the eHarmony customer service, and Todd fucking pulls up, dude. I
Yes, sir.
love it. Todd comes up, bails him out, helps him out, and like, oh, it's hilarious. And he's like, "Hey, dude," like he tells him, he's like, "After I made those updates, by the way, you got like 300
Yeah, pings
matches."
or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, "I've never seen that happen before." And he's like, "Oh, cool. Can you delete my account now?"
Yeah. He's like, I don't really want it anymore.
And
And
hmm?
go ahead. Go ahead.
But then he ends up going to back to his mom, because his mom, he's trying to move his mom into a new place. And so him and his mom wanted the piano she's had her whole life. That was not her whole life, but was given to her as a present from her husband, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what it
I
was.
think so.
Um, she wanted to keep that with her when she moved into like the assisted living area, but
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't get it up in the building, and
Yeah.
so they end up selling the piano so then she can move. And while they're at the place selling it, they all hug. Him, his sister, and his mom. They're talking, and as they're walking away, his his mom is like, "Hey, by the way, you threw this away," and he
Oh
hand
yeah, you should put that in your wallet. No, I don't have a wallet. Reaches in purse. Oh hey, you threw this away.
yeah. And he's like, "What? You kept this?" She's like, "I always keep all your knickknacks, Walter." Because
Yeah.
which is great foreshadowing, by the way, because the first scene we see with the mother and him at his place is a box full of knickknacks that his mom kept of his since he
Yep.
was young.
Yep.
And so it's like mom of the year, no, mom of life,
Just
right there,
mom
dude.
of the Life magazine.
Exactly. And so
Saved Walter's career.
he gets the frame, he brings it, he does, this time it's not made up, like this is real him, walks in, big dick energy and all, throws the slide down. "This is your cover photo, by the way, and how about you don't be such a dick, man," and
Yeah.
tells,
Yeah. I love that. When you come into a new place and rearrange everything and fire people, like you just don't have to be such a dick.
yeah, he's like, "I get it, your job, no one's gonna like it, but don't be such a dick, dude."
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic, just BDE oozing. And then he walks away. He doesn't look at the frame, by the way, so like
Nope.
he doesn't even know what it is and what the picture is. And this, I loved it. I will say it's a little easy to kind of predict, because I was like, oh, when he threw away the wallet, I'm like, oh, the picture's in the wallet. And then
Yeah.
like when he was talking to Sean about what the picture was, and Sean was like, "Oh, you would have really liked it." I looked at my sister and I was like, "The picture's of Walter." Like I kind of could guess,
Yeah.
but it still didn't take away from the impact of seeing it. And he gets a magazine. He's like, "Oh, the final cover of Life." So he goes, gets the magazine, and it's him using his special glasses that he has to look at the frames in detail.
Bifocals.
Bifocals, but they're not just normal bifocals, because bifocals allow you to see nearsighted and
Yeah.
farsighted. They're special glasses, but they're not like what he was wearing. He was wearing like two like magnifying glass things, kind of like, I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain them, but
They're like glasses with little glasses in front of the glasses.
yeah. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Watch it, you'll understand. But yes, and he was specifically earlier in the film going over all of those to try to find where Sean was, all of the different frames earlier in the movie, and outside in a specific area, and so showing that he goes out there comfortably and sits in front of like the Life building on the cement doing that outside. And so Sean saw him doing that before in the past, and he took a picture of him, and the cover was like, what makes people, what runs life, and it's a picture of him. It's a picture of Walter, and
it's dedicated people. What was it? Dedicated people who run this or something like that. I don't know.
Dedicated to the people who made it.
Yes. No, that's what it is.
Cover of life.
It is. That's what it is.
Yeah, dedicated to the people who made it. Yes, that's what it is. And so then he sees that and he's like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool." And then he gets the girl. So
yeah, there was a love interest.
Yeah, we kind of just scooted
Not
over
that it mattered.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm happy for him, but it was 100% like it was I guess technically like the C plot of the film. Like the A plot is
him finding himself.
B
plot him finding Sean.
The Sean / him getting the slide.
Yeah.
And then the C plot is him finding love.
Yeah.
And so I guess like technically that's the C plot, but like it was it's put in there to give you like an emotional connection to the character and relate to him, but they don't put too much effort in it outside of her kind of being like a plot device at times. You know what I mean? Like pushing him to go, not a plot device, but pushing him to do things here and there.
He sees her as the motivation to adventure. He explains that to her towards the end of the movie. He says that like when they were talking in the park, he imagined like a life with them, which is a really weird imagination because he has Benjamin Button's disease and he's like a little doll. And she's just like, it's okay, just die. And it's a really weird imagination.
But what I love about it too, though, is it's Benjamin Button disease, but you don't fully understand how it works.
Because he didn't see the movie.
Yeah, which is what he said. And so it's like a baby old man.
Well, I mean, that's what he is in the movie.
Well, I've never seen the movie either. And so my conception's always been confused. And so when he said that, I was like, that's phenomenal. Because I've always been confused on how that works.
Technically, how they showed it in the movie, like in this movie, is exactly opposite of how the movie actually worked. When Benjamin Button was born, he was born an old baby. But when he died a young old man. So he looked like a baby, but he was like 100.
That's so.
But his skin was all smooth and like he looked like a child, but he was actually like a baby.
That's so.
But actually an old man.
That's so
dude, it's a beautiful movie. It's really good. Brad Pitt.
It's Brad Pitt, isn't it?
He's Benjamin Button.
Okay, I'll check that out now.
It's a really good movie.
I'll check it out.
And then he talks about how he imagined her playing Space Oddity Ground Control to Major Tom song to him while he jumped on the plane.
Because she tells
how she's been like the motivation to experience the movie essentially.
Exactly.
So she was a big part of it.
That's true.
But it was like there was never any weight to advance. Like there was never any weight to be like, I need to get the girl. He was like, nah, like if it happens, it happens, and
it was.
But there was never any
wasn't like
on-screen pressure to get the girl.
He wasn't doing the adventure because he thought he was gonna get her. He was doing the adventure to save his ass.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
so that's why I feel like it had less weight. It wasn't like she didn't influence him, like you
Yeah.
said. I agree with you there, but it wasn't like a normal romance movie where you
No.
do the thing to
Nope,
get
nope.
the girl. He
Nope.
did the thing for a
And
whole
it
other
got the girl.
reason, and he got the girl because he did the thing. So it's
Yep.
like, I like that.
I think it's a
It,
better representation of love, personally,
I
because he chased his dream, and
that won her over.
that just so happened to say, "Wow, look at this interesting human.
Hmm.
I could have this person in my life."
Well, yeah, I agree with you there. I like that better.
Yeah.
Well, so we kind of did this a bit different this episode than we normally do when it comes to going over movies, but I'm okay with that.
I liked it.
Let's. I want to ask you now. Would you say this movie is notable?
No, not one bit. Um, Personally, out of all the movies that we've watched, I would say this is the most notable movie
Really?
in the sense of just a must-watch movie. Yes.
Mm.
I love this movie. This is a movie that is like stop dreaming, start living, kind of like cheesy, of course,
Ooh,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's also like a lot can change when you decide to actually get stuff done and when you actually decide to live your dreams and stop dreaming.
It's
And
it's almost like it's a lot easier to do what you've always wanted to do, but you've been holding yourself back, type of thing.
yeah. Yeah. And it's a good one. It's a good reminder to like take life for what it is and risk it for the biscuit. You know?
Bruce Arians, is that you?
Yes.
Um, sports joke. Sports ball. Woo.
Basketball, you just hated yourself for saying that.
I actually did. I wanted to punch myself. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, that's why I said it.
But no, I totally agree with you. I think when you said it was you think you're like the most notable movie we watched, my gut reaction was like, no, Good Will Hunting, or no, 500 Days, or
Lies.
no, Truman Show. But now I'm thinking about it like, no,
Lies.
this is 100%. I agree with you. Like, I agree with you. I feel like this is lined up a lot with my life, and so that in that way has impacted me. But like, no, I think this is probably, with a close second being Good Will Hunting, probably the most notable movie. I agree, and especially something like you kind of touched on about like just stop dreaming and live your dreams.
Yeah.
What I loved about this movie is he's not young. He's like
No.
mid 40s
Yep.
when he,
Hair is turning gray.
yeah, end of career when he starts doing this. And I think that specifically is the most important part. It's
Some
never
could
too
justify
late.
as midlife crisis.
Yeah. Well, and it's never too late
Exactly.
to to make a change
To
in
do
your
anything.
dreams. I saw
Exactly.
this TikTok the other day, and it was someone being like, that usually when people are like 30, when they're 30 and they're thinking about going to college and getting a degree to do something they've always wanted to, like, oh, I don't want to, I'm gonna be 37 by the time I finish this. It's like, they're like, okay, yeah, but you're gonna be 37 no matter what. You're just choosing if you want. You're choosing whether you want a degree in chasing your life, or be 37 and regret the fact you never did it. Like, you're gonna become that time isn't gonna disappear or get longer or shorter, whether you decide to do it or not. You're just justifying not doing it because it's gonna take up time.
Yep.
Which I
Time
think is
waits for no one.
which is a beautiful thing that I feel like is just something that's a good reminder for everyone. And then I feel like this movie kind of plays into that. That movie shows that it's never too late to reach for the stars and do what you want to do and adventure or go after your dreams, whatever that may be. It's never too late. And as someone who's like a dreamer myself, like, I constantly telling people to go chase their dreams. and I've always been that way. Like yes, it's good.
It's a good
So
movie, dude.
I'd agree with you. It is notable.
It's a good one. See,
And
Daniel, what you're experiencing right now is what movies always do for me.
I've had movies like this.
No, I'm just saying, like, mostly every movie that I watch, this is the state of mind I get into, where it's just like every movie I watch, I just hardcore relate to my life and find the small simplicities
Yeah.
and stupid, overthinking and, all that stuff, which is anxiety, but is also just being able to appreciate creativity.
Well, and also, like, I think it's easier to appreciate art if you're able to relate to the art, you know?
Facts.
And if you can relate to the art, then you can appreciate it in a higher way. And it's not like you're going to relate to everything, but being able to relate to some of it is, So.
Yeah. Movies are beautiful. I love them. They represent so many things to everybody completely differently. And I love movies so much. I'm happy we did this one.
I am too. And I'm happy the way it happened too. So, just by the way, this is, like, as you can probably tell, one of Eric's all-time favorite movies, right?
Top 10.
Top 10. I didn't know that, and if I did, I forgot about it because you said it in passing.
No, I don't talk about this movie.
Yeah, so I did not know that. We were calling to see what movie we wanted to do, and I told the story of how I watched this movie. I was like, hey, I just watched this. I'm busy on vacation. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch another movie. I mean, I can if I need to, but I just watched this. Would you be down to do this? And you were immediate, like,
oh yeah,
yes, oh yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, yep.
Bet.
I'm pretty positive when you started to say, hey, I watched this one movie, and then you started to describe it for a second, I was like, oh, see, Life of Walter Mitty. Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you knew exactly.
I was instantly shocked. Cut you off.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I love it.
Yeah. I was shocked you knew it and that you were on board. I'm like, yes. Nope. So, dude, this was a meant to be episode.
Dude, it's a meant to be movie. That's why I think it's so notable.
And I don't think I'd honestly, like, we go through a lot of movies that we like. A lot of the movies we've said, change a little bit here, change a little bit there. We haven't really wanted to change much. This movie, I'm confident saying I don't want to change a single thing about it. I don't want to. I don't think it needs to be changed.
I would change some things, but it wouldn't be about the story.
Like what?
I would probably change how long it is, and I would make it longer. It's only good things. I think it is perfect how it is, and my only changes would be
like
to just get more out of it. Yes.
Yeah. No.
There's nothing wrong with this
nothing
movie.
You would remove or add.
No.
Change. You're only.
Oh no, I would add.
Things.
I would only add.
Yeah, only adding. Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I would never. I wouldn't change, like, cut things. Heck no.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my favorite parts of this movie is when he does fly into LA, and it's just the most random scene. He's getting checked in X-ray machine, and he gets into like a fight in the machine. So you're seeing like Ben Stiller as a skeleton and two security guards as like a skeleton, and they're like punching each other and like, and then he gets a mace and he's on the ground like screaming, dude. It's such a wonky shot, and like for it to just come out of nowhere is just beautiful.
Yeah, you don't expect it to happen. And It's funny because he's fighting them and he's kind of getting the upper hand, and then this other security guard comes out, and it's just this bigger lady, and like he's handling these guys. This bigger lady just fucking
bodies him. Yeah. Sprays him.
Dude, the security lady was like, ain't about it, son. Nope. And then maces him, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's one of my favorite scenes. It's just so out of nowhere. It's just beautiful.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that even happened.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was so like short, so quick, and
Yeah.
so like
It's
juxtaposed
literally
that.
like out of right field. It makes no
Mm.
sense.
Oh yeah, and it ends
It's like,
quickly too. It's not
yeah,
like they marinate on it.
nope.
It's very quick.
Nope. That is so funny.
Well, I think that's about it. We're reaching about 55 a minute an hour. 55
I'm about
minute
it.
an hour. Wow, I can speak English. Oh
Nope.
yeah. So I think that's about it for this episode. Any last words before we wrap this puppy up?
Any last words?
Before I kill you.
Rough. No.
Okay.
I don't have anything. Oh, besides watch the movie and comment and like
Yes.
and subscribe and download and turn notifications on and do it.
And subscribe at The Noted Podcast. Follow at A Noted Podcast on Twitter. Follow us on Spotify at The Noted Podcast. Instagram, Twitter, Instagram, The Noted Podcast as well. Like most episodes, we usually at the end of the episode tell you what next week's episode's going to be. We haven't discussed it yet, so
Moon Knight. Moon Knight.
Yeah, I was going to say Moon Knight on Friday, like we've been doing. By the way, if you haven't watched our Moon Knight side series, watch it, please. We love you too. It comes out every Friday, so 2 days after this will. And we will announce on Friday that the next Moon Knight episode, I think is what, episode 5?
Mm-hmm.
What our movie for this next coming week will be on that coming Wednesday. So stay tuned, and then we'll also tweet it too. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And that has been Noted.
Yeah.